issue that we have in today in a lot of our communities is that because we ain't got that connection to our culture, we really, or that our race or our history, we don't really have a culture. That's why everybody this week, what we gonna be doing, or this week, the end of this week, what we gonna be doing? Celebrate Easter. What Easter got to do with anything? What a Negro got to do with Easter at all? Nothing. And Easter ain't got nothing to do with at all.
Barely get sleep, I hit the streets, I got my guard up. I know we probably did some things that we not proud of. That's why the Father had to leave us at the bottom. But I ain't tripping cause he got us. On the mission time, ticking on that timer. Taking the kingdom ain't no secret, bro, we got us. Cause ain't no respect without power.
So God tells us not to conform ourselves or allow ourselves to be conformed to what we see on earth. Because the way a lot of what America's influenced the black man to do, we already see where it's leading us. How you doing, my brother? How you doing, King? What's your name?
Tay.
Tay? How you doing, Tay? My name's Sarai.
How you doing?
Hey, so the question I want to ask is how would you describe the position of the black man in America right now, 2025? Confused. I would agree with you. What would you say we're confused about?
We worship a God more than we worship ourselves. You put God first. You put God as most of this. He's supposed to lead you and guide you through everything you do. So we are so caught up trying to please another man, or trying to do an image of it because we confuse ourselves. Because we think ourselves come up out.
I like what you said. You said that we put the dollar first before dang near everything and before God. I agree with you. That's what we see a lot, especially on TV, especially amongst how we deal with one another, the things that we chase, we put the priorities in our life. It seems like the money is what's running everything, right? The question, okay, so the second question I got is with God being all powerful and in control of everything, how did or why did he allow us to be in this position to where we confused and now it's like our morals are out of whack to where we choosing the dollar over everything?
Because he gave us free choice.
Mm-hmm.
When we go back to the biblical way, when he brought Adam and Eve, he first gave him choice. The choice to follow him or not. So we got so caught up in the image of things like that, and we see that other people that separate us. Like I see other nationalities, they are still together, like Mexicans and some of the Caucasians and stuff like that. They work together, but our race is not like that.
That's true.
We are so caught up in trying to be, I'm going to be better than my brother. But you should, like I told my homeboy, it's like he asked me about the 10 Commandments. Yes. When I came to commandments, it said, love our neighbor, love ourselves. So how can I love myself while I love you? How can I see you struggling when I hit you?
That's true. I'm with you. Now, you said that the Lord gave us free choice or a choice to make. And based off the choice we made, that's why we end up in the situation we in now. Right. So what choice would you say that we made?
Then us getting to the point where we go to unity and follow the way we were doing, like our ancestors did. Mm-hmm. We got so caught up on unity.
So would you say we made the wrong choice?
The wrong choice was we start putting man before God.
Okay, watch this. Now what we're going to read is going to say very similar to something that you just said about the Lord giving us a choice and us choosing the wrong. Watch this.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 15. But it shall come to pass that if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
So when we read in the book of Deuteronomy, this is Moses speaking to the people that he just brought out of Egypt. You familiar with that story?
Yeah.
About Moses going to Pharaoh, telling him, let my people go, and splitting the Red Sea and people coming out, right? This is Moses speaking to that very same people, giving them a choice from the Lord. The Lord told Moses, look, tell these people, if they decide or they make the choice to not do what I'm commanding them to do, then I'll put curses on them and their kids. Now I want you to listen to what the curses are, just how they describe, and I want you to tell me if it's something that sounds familiar to you. Watch this. Give me verse 64. You already know. 64.
Verse 64. And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people, from one end of the earth even unto another. and there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone.
So one of the curses that he just described is this people he talking to that just came out of Egypt. He told them, look, if you decide not to keep God's commandments, then the Lord is going to cause y'all to be scattered amongst all people on the earth and to the four corners of the earth, right? And then he said, when you get to these places, you're going to start to serve other gods or have other beliefs that your fathers didn't, right? Now watch this. Not only, okay, bam, you're going to be taken from where you from, scattered everywhere amongst all people. You're going to start to believe stuff your ancestors didn't believe. Watch what else. Keep reading. 65.
Verse 65. And among these nations shalt thou find no ease, neither shall the soles of thy feet have no rest. But the Lord shall give thee there a trembling heart, and falling of eyes, and sorrow of mind.
So it says not only you're finna be taken from your whole land, you're gonna be scattered. When you get there, you're gonna be subscribing to different belief systems your ancestors didn't subscribe to. Then it says when you get there, you ain't finna be at ease, meaning you ain't finna be at having solitude or peace or rest. He says the sole of your feet ain't gonna have rest, and you're gonna constantly be in sorrow. It says sorrow of mind, failing of eyes, meaning sadness or depression. It's gonna be the constant mental state of you when you get to these places. Now I don't know about you, but that's starting to sound somewhat familiar of a point in time in history.
Yeah.
What does that sound like to you?
Slavery.
Absolutely. That's what we're reading about in the Bible. That's literally what we're reading about. What's so powerful about this, though, is that what we read has been here way before America's been built. The words on this page have been here and was written down and documented way before these events that we know today as history ever took place. For us, it means a couple things. It means first and foremost that we are the descendants of those people Moses was talking to. That's what that means. So when we read about Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Moses, Isaiah, Jeremiah, we need to stop attributing people that look like this to them.
Okay.
Yes.
I don't believe in that.
That's good.
You know why? Because is it the Quran or is it the Bible?
That's the Bible he reading out of.
Okay. In the Bible, it describes Jesus.
Yes, it does.
And it says he had a hair wool.
Yes.
His skin of pop. So we are so caught up on finding this right here that we became slavery from slaves to what we see.
Facts.
So as a person that I came from, that most of everything that they put us in our nation, they told us to stop reading.
Hey, you ain't no lie.
So
you ain't no lie.
If you want to learn something, to follow something, and you don't want our culture to know something, put it in the book.
Yep. They got that saying. You want to hide something from a Negro, put it in the book.
So if you don't tell us to read, you have to follow somebody else. You don't follow white Jesus.
Yeah.
But in your Bible, if you follow your Bible and the preacher speaks what he said, he came from Africa. He was a black man.
There we go. Now, see, let's put the whole puzzle together now, right? Because of that man, the way he's described, if it's more like me and you, what race did he come from? What's Jesus' race?
He was African.
How is he described in what race he come from when we read about in the Bible? Because I mean, they
say he was a Philippine, not Philippine, but Egypt. He came from Egypt.
Yeah. His parents went to Egypt for asylum for a time, but they're not necessarily native from Egypt. They from this. I'm gonna show you on this map real quick. If you look, so Egypt is kind of like in this little location right here, northeast. I mean, this is Africa. If you look, what makes you say that? You've been in here, and
Yes.
this is in Egypt?
Trust me, you know what y'all see that phone?
Yeah.
It's in service. Saudi Arabia, down here. Egypt right there.
So where are the pyramids that's built?
Yeah, it's in Egypt.
No, I'm saying they are in Egypt, right? But where do people go in the middle of, like?
Now them go to the middle,
Watch
they
this.
go to Africa.
Somebody pull up Egypt on the map real quick. The point is, matter of fact, I ain't even finna digress into that. Regardless of where Egypt at, I really don't care where Egypt is at. The point I wanted to make, yeah, you could pull up, on the map. The point I wanted to make is that
No, I'm sorry, I don't apologize. I take credit. It's right here.
yeah, it's up north. No, not this horn. No, this is right here. You see how it's a northeast in connection to this little continent right here? It's
They don't tell
northeast.
us, see,
Okay.
tell us it's in service. You right there, you.
Right. So the point is, though, is why I want Stan talking about Jesus is the race he comes from. We read in the Bible. Is he a Jew? He's an Israelite. All right.
Yep.
But the point is that if we got a Jew or Israelite that's being described as looking like me and you, then what do his parents look like, and what do his people look like if he looked like that? Us, which would make us who?
The cities right here.
You said descendants of him. I don't. But what race would we be from?
Jewish.
Not necessarily Jewish. We'd be the Jews or the Israelites. Those descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, them 12 tribes. We descendants of one of those tribes. That's what that makes us. But what comes with understanding that we come from those people and not just. Because when we say we African, that's like such a broad term. You know what I mean? Like, if we say we African, we just saying, I come from this continent. I'm like, it's like, 50-some countries on this continent.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Thousands of different people groups. Like, that ain't saying nothing. You know what I'm saying? That's just like somebody being like, I come from Earth. I'm a Earthian. You know what I'm saying? Like, that ain't saying nothing. Right? And the issue that we have in today in a lot of our communities is that because we ain't got that connection to our culture, we really, or that our race, or our history, we don't really have a culture. That's why everybody this week, what we finna be doing? Or this week, the end of this week, what we finna be doing? Celebrate Easter? What Easter got to do with anything? What a Negro got to do with Easter at all? Nothing. And Easter ain't got nothing to do with Jesus at all. You know what I'm saying? They put a face of Jesus on it, but when you look at what Easter comes from, the origins of Easter, like bunnies and eggs, what they got to do? Eggs, bunnies don't lay eggs.
I don't follow that part of Easter.
You see what I'm saying?
I follow what's in the Bible. It says the resurrection of Jesus.
Even that though, right? They say he was in the ground for, if you can find it, we'll read it. We're talking about, hey, somebody find that. Which says the sign of Jonah being in the belly of the, earth, 3 days, 3 nights. Because even let's do that, if we do the math, Friday or Sunday ain't 3 days and 3 nights. You know what I'm saying?
Nobody knows what the
Huh? Let's read that. Watch this, read. Oh, you got. You said nobody know when the Sabbath is? Why you say that?
Some folks say the Sabbath is on Sunday. Some folks say the Sabbath is Saturday.
Okay.
So when the Sabbath, then we do it.
We're gonna watch this. We're gonna read this, and then we're gonna read what the Bible say when the Sabbath is. Watch.
The book of Matthew, chapter 12, verse 38. Then certain of the scribes of the Pharisees answered, saying, Master, we would see a sign from thee. But he answered and said unto them, an evil and adulterous generation seeketh after a sign, and there shall no sign be given to it but the sign of the prophet Jonas.
So you had people at this time trying to, what's the word? Trying to trip up Christ and ask him questions like, if you the Messiah, well, give me a sign then that you the Messiah. Well, he's like, look, y'all seeking for a sign. The only sign y'all gonna get that I am the man who I say I am is the sign of the prophet Jonah. We remember what happened in the situation with Jonah, him being in the belly of the fish 3 days or 3 nights or whatever. That's the same thing he's saying. Now watch.
For as Jonas was 3 days and 3 nights in the whale's belly, so shall the Son of Man be 3 days and 3 nights in the heart of the earth.
So let's just say nobody did know when the Sabbath was, but we gonna read what the Bible said on the Sabbath was. Even when calculating 3 days and 3 nights, we just, no matter what day of the week you put that on, when people say celebrate Easter and they say, well, Good Friday to Resurrection Sunday, the math just don't add up. The math don't math. You know what I'm saying? It don't. That's what we gotta understand, but we gotta be honest. Like we did grade school, man. We know how to do some addition.
That's 72 hours.
You know what I'm saying? It's supposed to be 72 full hours. But if they say he died Friday and raised Sunday morning, that ain't no 72 hours. You see what I'm saying? And on top of that, we can't disconnect the fact that we all done grew up in a church celebrating some type of Easter tradition, including us. All of us have. And what we always see, everybody coming out with the pastel suits, the pastel color clothes, the big old hats that stretch the length and width of the sanctuary with the women. And then you got Easter egg hunts, colored eggs or whatever kids be eating. Things like you merging pagan traditions that ain't got nothing to do with Christ, and then I'm gonna slap Jesus on it and make it something good. We can't merge those things. But the reason why we do this, because just out of ignorance, it's tradition. It's something that's been passed down. But the question is, passed down from who and from where? From the people that did this.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We didn't make it up. The names we got come from this. The beliefs we have come from this. The traditions that we have come from this. And we've never departed from it. That's what we got to realize. And realize that when we actually read this, it says something different from what we've been doing our whole life. And if we truly love God, then we got to make those changes and adaptations. Be like, okay, look, I've been doing this. The Bible says don't do this. Let me change. Let me get this right. Let me make these changes as needed so I can really serve God how He telling me to serve Him. Because watch when the Sabbath day is. Because like He said, we got 2 different opinions that exist right now. We got people saying the Sabbath is Sunday sometimes. You got some people that believe it's on Saturday, right? Now watch what the Bible say. Watch.
The book of Exodus, chapter 20 and verse 8. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work. But the 7th day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work.
So it says, the Lord giving us 6 days. The Sabbath day that we keep is based off of the account that we see how the Lord worked in Genesis, how He did creation. He worked for 6 days. That 7th day, say He rested. Then He turned around, He give us a commandment. Like, okay, bam, I want y'all to work for 6 days. The 7th day, I need y'all to rest like I did, right? Something as simple as all we got to do is, same how you looked up Egypt, to pull out our phone, we can look at what our calendar say. Look, see what I'm saying? Just start at the beginning of the week. I see an S at the beginning of the week, which stands for Sunday. I count 7 days after where I'm getting at. Or 6 days later. We will get to Friday. But the way that our ancestors counted when days started and when they end is based off the evening. No, it wouldn't be Monday. So the Sabbath would start Friday night. Because the way we keep time, our days started and ended when the sun went down. Right? So it'd be Friday night. So let's say it would be even worse for say for instance, you celebrate Easter and you say he died on Friday. Well, now we got to talk about, what time of day on Friday? Because that could make the math even worse. You see what I'm saying? If you're saying he died Friday, he got buried Friday night, then it's even less time than, we originally thought. So all of these things, we gotta start questioning the things we've been learning all our life and see if it line up with what they say.
What is a nation? Nation is men leading by example. Nation is family. Exploitation.